It begins with a quiet moment, almost invisible, like a single drop of water falling into a vast, dark ocean. After a long day filled with stress, disappointments, and noise, she finally finds herself alone. In the dim light of her room, staring at her phone, the soft blue glow of the screen feels like a beacon, a tiny island of control in a chaotic world. Her thumb starts to scroll automatically, a gesture so familiar it barely registers. It's not even curiosity anymore, it's habit, unconscious. Dance between her brain's craving for novelty and the comforting ritual of distraction. The endless feeds, ads, and recommended-for-you suggestions are no accident. They're engineered to pull her in one click at a time, and then it happens. She sees it. A perfectly crafted ad that speaks to her deepest desires without ever saying a word. It promises escape, happiness, control, things she feels slipping. Through her fingers, just one click, it says silently, inviting her into a moment of relief, of reward. She taps. The moment her finger presses the button, her brain rewards her. Dopamine, the chemical messenger of motivation and pleasure, floods her system. It's not just about the item she's buying. It's the feeling, anticipation, hope, the thrill of the chase. It's a spark that lights up her nervous system, like a small firework exploding inside her chest. She leans back, the confirmation email glowing softly in her inbox. No applause, no celebration, just the quiet pulse of satisfaction running through her veins. Her brain doesn't demand fanfare. It craves the next hit, the next fix, the next spark. But beneath this seemingly harmless act lies a trap, invisible and insidious. The very biology that helped humans survive seeking rewards to motivate action is now being hijacked. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Dopamine system, designed for real, meaningful rewards, is caught in an endless loop of false promises and fleeting highs. This single click, this tiny spark, is the first thread in a tangled web that pulls her deeper and deeper into a cycle of craving, reward, and crash. And the more she chases it, the farther she drifts from real satisfaction. As the minutes turn to hours, and the packages begin to fill her doorstep, she remains unaware of the deeper forces at play, forces shaping her desires, her decisions, and ultimately her destiny. It's not long before the small spark becomes a wildfire. The packages start arriving, one after another, turning her home into a gallery of impulse and longing. Boxes stacked in corners, some unopened for days. There, contents slowly losing meaning amid the clutter. Each delivery feels like a tiny celebration. It's a momentary balm for the growing ache inside her. She tells herself these purchases are normal. Everyone indulges sometimes. Everyone deserves to treat themselves. But deep down, an uneasy feeling gnaws at her. The thrill she felt when clicking buy quickly fades into a hollow echo. The shiny new object doesn't fill the emptiness. Instead, it becomes just another piece of the puzzle she can't solve. The excitement of anticipation is powerful, but so is the crash. When the box finally arrives and the wrapping falls away, she holds the item, expecting joy, but it slips through her fingers like sand. It's no longer about the thing itself, the fleeting feeling she hoped it would bring. There's a strange kind of panic that creeps in afterwards. A voice inside whispers, "You did it again." She tries to quiet it with rationalizations, scrolling through feeds, or buying just one more thing. But the emptiness lingers, a shadow that refuses to be outrun. Scientists call this the hedonic treadmill, a cycle where we chase new pleasures. But our satisfaction never lasts. It's the reason why more never feels like enough. The brain adapts quickly, requiring bigger, newer hits just to feel the same spark. She is caught in this loop, unknowingly running faster just to stay in the same place. And each time, the crash follows the high, leaving her more exhausted and empty than before. What she doesn't realize is that her mind is locked in a biochemical game of battle between craving and consequence, reward and regret. This invisible cycle is the real trap. She stares into the mirror, searching for a face she once knew. The confident, put together exterior masks, a storm beneath, a chaos she's learned to hide from even herself. The clothes are perfect, the makeup flawless. But inside, the cracks widen. Behind the scenes, the truth is uncomfortably clear. Credit card bills are piling up like ominous reminders. Payments are deferred, minimum amounts barely covered, and the numbers don't lie. She's sinking deeper into debt. Yet the silence around the financial chaos is deafening. The unopened statements stacked on her desk are like unspoken confessions she's afraid to voice. She's built a carefully curated facade, social media posts of perfect moments, laughter with friends, vacations documented in filtered images.
But behind
the screen, the anxiety gnaws relentlessly. There's the shame of overspending, the fear of judgment, and the exhausting weight of pretending everything is fine. Each purchase used to be a statement. I'm okay. I'm in control. It was a way to reward herself, to feel power when everything else felt out of reach. Now, it's become a cycle of denial and distraction. The high is fleeting, the crash inevitable, and the quiet aftermath of each spree. When the bags are unpacked and the thrill fades, she's left facing the empty spaces inside. Loneliness, fear, and self-doubt creep in like unwelcome guests. Still, the pull is magnetic. When dawn breaks, her hand reaches for the phone again, ready to chase the elusive feeling that spending once promised but never delivers. A sudden buzz slices through the quiet, pulling her attention back to the screen. It's a notification, a flash sale, ending in just minutes. Her heart races, the familiar rush flooding her veins like electricity. Scarcity and urgency work together, engineered to ignite a primal fear, the fear of missing out. Her breath quickens as the countdown ticks down. She feels a magnetic pull, an irresistible urge to act, to claim the deal before it disappears forever. It's not just shopping anymore. It's a game of chase, a battle where the stakes are her own, dopamine-driven impulses. Behind the scenes, invisible algorithms have studied her every move, tracking her clicks, hesitations, and wish lists. They know exactly what will hook her when she's most vulnerable, and how to keep her coming back for more. This isn't coincidence. It's calculated science. Each notification, each timer, each limited offer is a carefully crafted weapon, designed to hijack her brain's reward system. The rush she feels isn't just from spending money, it's from the thrill of anticipation. It's a moment when dopamine surges in response to possibility. She isn't shopping freely. She's trapped in a maze of her own biology and the digital world's manipulations. The more she resists, the louder the sirens call. The more she succumbs, the deeper she sinks. Unseen forces pull her strings, marketing psychologists, data scientists, tech wizards, all working together to keep her locked in this invisible cage. She's no longer the hunter, but the hunted, caught in a cycle of craving and surrender, and as the timer hits 0, the flash sale ends. But for her, the real countdown has just begun. He walks back into her life quietly, like a shadow from a past she thought she had left behind. Once he was more than just a memory, a lover, a friend, someone who knew her in ways few others did. Now, time and distance have changed him into something else. A scientist, thinker, someone who understands the inner workings of the mind with chilling precision. When he looks at her, he doesn't just see the surface, the shopping bags, the tired eyes, the forced smiles. He sees the battlefield inside her brain, the chemical warfare raging beneath her skin. And he speaks words she's never heard before, words that cut through the fog. It's not just willpower. It's dopamine, the craving, the anticipation, the addiction. He explains that dopamine isn't the simple pleasure she thought it was. It's the powerful force that drives her to chase the next hit, the next rush, the next moment of relief. It's a biological loop, a feedback system that hijacks her choices, rewires her priorities, and leaves her trapped in cycles of craving and spending. But trust doesn't come easily. She wonders if he's truly here to help, or if he's just another part of the trap, another voice telling her what she already fears but doesn't want to accept. The line between support and judgment blurs as she wrestles with vulnerability. fear, and hope. His presence brings new questions. Could understanding the science behind her struggle be the key to freedom? Or is it just another reason to feel powerless? Caught between doubt and possibility, she begins to see her story in a new light, one that promises change but demands courage, determined to reclaim control. She pulls out a notebook, opens a budgeting app, and starts mapping out her spending. She writes down every purchase, every impulse, every just this once moment that has led her here. She tells herself this time will be different. This time she'll be strong enough, disciplined enough to break free. But as days pass, the best-laid plans begin to crumble. The numbers mock her credit card balances rising, bills looming, budgets blown within hours. She finds herself rationalizing purchases, telling herself she deserves a break, that this one is special. The cycle tightens its grip. Guilt creeps in like a shadow, thick and suffocating. She hides the receipts, deletes transaction notifications, and avoids bank statements. Each failed attempt chips away at her confidence. What started as a promise to herself now feels like a cruel joke. Then, something unexpected, an intervention of sorts, comes from someone she never expected. Her best friend. Quietly, carefully, they've been tracking her spending patterns, hoping to find a way to help without causing more pain. When the truth is revealed, it hits like a thunderclap. She feels exposed, betrayed. The very person she trusted most has been watching her not as a companion, but as a keeper of secrets she never consented to share. Walls she'd built around herself collapse and rebuild thicker than before. Trust fractures. But beneath the anger and hurt, a tiny ember of hope flickers. Maybe this rupture isn't the end, but the beginning of something new. Maybe accepting help, even when it hurts, is the first real step toward healing. The journey ahead is uncertain and steep, filled with obstacles both inside her mind and in the relationships around her. But for the first time in a long time, she senses the possibility of change, a path toward freedom not just from debt, but from the compulsions that led her here. And so, with trembling hands and a cautious heart, she takes her first real step toward rebuilding not just her finances, but herself. The crash arrives like a tidal wave, sudden, overwhelming, and unforgiving. One moment she's clinging to fragile hope, and the next, everything unravels. The credit card bills pile up, relentless and merciless. Calls from creditors buzz her phone like an alarm. She's too scared to answer. She feels the weight of failure settle heavy on her chest. It's not just the numbers on paper, it's the crushing blow to her spirit. The anxiety, the shame, the gnawing loneliness, each emotion circles like a predator. Tearing at the edges of her resolve, she retreats into silence. Friends' voices become distant echoes, invitations ignored. The bright, curated social media posts feel like mirrors reflecting back the life she's losing control of. Alone in her room, the reality sinks in. The cycle has spun out of control. Her mind races through every decision, every impulse, every moment she told herself. Just this once. The rationalizations that once soothed now sting like cold water. She wonders how she got here, how the simple act of clicking by lead to this abyss. The emotional fallout is brutal. Anxiety churns in her stomach. Tears come unbidden. She wrestles with regret and self-loathing, but beneath the pain, a fragile spark begins to glow defiance. This is rock bottom, but it's also a turning point. In the depths of despair, she finds a flicker of strength, a quiet voice saying, "This doesn't have to be the end." The path to recovery is daunting, filled with uncertainty and fear. But for the first time, she dares to imagine a life beyond the Saikula life, where she controls her spending. Rather than it controlling her, it's a beginning born from collapse. It demands everything she has left. The moment she discovers the community feels like finding a lifeline tossed into stormy seas. An online forum, a support group, a place where stories unfold like fragile confessions and voices echo her own silent struggles. Here she is not invisible. She is not alone, for the first time. She hears words that resonate deeply. Dopamine hijacking, behavioral addiction, the architecture of craving. Initially, it sounds like a strange new language, almost too clinical, too cold to be true. But the more she listens, the more she sees her own experience reflected in the stories of others. She learns how the very fabric of the digital world is woven to trap her. Algorithms, once neutral tools, have become merciless architects of desire, tracking every click, every pause, every tiny flicker of hesitation to tailor a personalized net that tightens with every visit. Flash sales, countdown timers, limited time offers. They are not coincidences, but carefully engineered hooks designed to trigger her brain's reward system relentlessly. It's a revelation both terrifying and empowering. The trap is not a flaw or accident. It is designed to keep her hooked, to keep her spending. For years, she believed it was her weakness. Now she understands it is a war waged on her brain's chemistry, with billions spent to keep her in the cycle of craving and crashing. This knowledge is a double-edged sword. The realization is painful, like peeling back layers to reveal an uncomfortable truth that shakes the foundation of her reality. But it also sparks a fierce determination. Awareness becomes her first weapon in this battle. Connection with others becomes her new anchor. Through shared stories, through collective wisdom, she begins to reclaim parts of herself lost to the dopamine trap. She learns practical strategies, but more importantly, she finds compassion for her own struggles. The empathy she never gave herself before. Yet she knows this is only the beginning. The hardest battle lies ahead, not outside forces, but the invisible war within her own mind. Rewiring years of conditioned craving, breaking the cycle deep in her neural pathways, resisting the siren calls embedded in every corner of the digital world, but armed with understanding and a community to lean on, she feels a growing strength. The path to freedom is no longer a lonely road. It's a journey walked together, step by step, toward reclaiming control not just of money, but of mind and life. She takes a deep breath and makes a choice that feels like stepping off a cliff into the unknown. No more cards to swipe. More apps to scroll. She locks away her credit cards in a drawer and deletes every shopping app from her phone. It's a radical act of rebellion against the dopamine cycle that's ruled her life for too long. But freedom isn't handed easily. The first days are a tempest of cravings crashing like relentless waves. Her brain, starved of its usual chemical hits, screams in protest. The withdrawal is physical: restless nights, irritability, a gnawing unease that refuses to be silenced. But it's also emotional: pangs of loneliness, bouts of sadness, and an aching emptiness that feels like a hollow echo in her chest. Each craving is a battle waged deep within. It's a war between the old neural pathways forged by years of instant gratification, and the new ones she's desperately trying to build: circuits of patience, mindfulness, and delayed reward. She discovers that this struggle isn't just about breaking a habit, it's about healing a chemistry that's been rewired. Dopamine doesn't just signal pleasure, it drives motivation and anticipation. When the flow stops, the brain demands its fix, creating a biological thirst that's difficult to quench. In these dark moments, she learns to sit with discomfort, to observe the cravings without surrendering to them. She replaces impulsive urges with small rituals: a walk in the fresh air, a journal entry, a call to a trusted friend. These new habits are fragile lifelines, but with each passing day, they grow stronger. She begins to understand the power of delayed gratification. That true satisfaction doesn't come from the next purchase, but from reclaiming control over her choices. The path is lonely and steep, but with each step, she rewires her brain for freedom instead of craving. And though the battle is far from over, for the first time in years, she feels a quiet strength taking root, a resilience born not from perfection, but from persistence. The journey is far from over. But something profound has shifted within her, a slow, steady transformation that unfolds beneath the surface, unseen but undeniable. She's no longer a prisoner of impulse, but a student of her own mind. This transformation isn't a dramatic overnight change. It's a quiet rewiring of her brain, a gradual reclaiming of control over both her money and her thoughts. Choice she makes now carries weight, a conscious step away from the cycles that once ruled her. She becomes a beacon, not just for herself, but for others still caught in the same invisible trap. Sharing her story, shedding light on the dopamine-driven cycles, she offers a mirror for those who feel lost and powerless. Her voice becomes a source of hope, a reminder that freedom is possible. She understands now that the greatest battle was never against external forces or even her own willpower. The real struggle lay deep within, where biology meets psychology in the tangled wiring of craving and reward. And the greatest twist in her story, the trap was always inside her. Dopamine-driven highs and crashes, the cravings and the crashes, they were parts of her own brain's chemistry. But now, armed with knowledge and resilience, she holds the keys to unlock those chains. Freedom isn't about denying desire, but mastering it. It's about choosing meaning over momentary highs, connection over consumption. In the quiet victory of delayed gratification, she finds strength. In the clarity of awareness, she finds power. This is not an end, but a beginning. The first true steps toward a life of balance, control, and peace. Her story is a testament when you understand. The trap, you no longer fall for it. True freedom begins not with your money, but with your mind.